June 22nd, 2021. Haven't been doing too many updates. Thought I'd try to get some done. Somewhat got the rabbits under control, so the garden's finally growing. Tomatoes are finally getting some size and starting to bloom. A few of them's still small, but they are growing. Hot peppers in here. First year I've got some really hot ones growing. These are South Carolina Reapers. Some mushmelon finally starting to come up. Everything's really late this year due to the colder weather. A few more coming up here. Carrots over there. They're doing nice. Pineapple over here. Doing a little bit of work in the center again. Something new. I have a steel walkway above my lowest drainage so that I can get across in the winter. Some tomato plants. Section not planted yet. Not sure what I'm going to plant here. 2 bitter melons grew, and that was it this year. Some eggplants I planted just the other day. Okra is up. Had grandkids, even the youngest, help me plant, so they're going to have to be thinned big time, but better too many than not enough. Got to replant a few of the cabbages again still. Nothing's hardly down this end. Still got to plant this. Have been working on this section over here. Some hot peppers. Put those in just last night. Got to get some mulch and straw down in this area. Peaches are looking nice. Some volunteer sweet corn over here with the tomatoes. We'll see how they do. There's, I believe, 6 stalks. These tomatoes have took off real nice. I haven't even had time to prune them. They took off so quick. Had some almost 100-degree weather. Some tomatoes finally setting on here. These are, I believe, closer to a determinate, so these won't be pruned. I think these are mushmelon. There is 2 just now coming up. Not been planted long. Onions, not a good year for onions. I didn't get them out very early, and they didn't take off very quick. These are bulbing and reaching probably their maturity. Volunteer potatoes, of course, everywhere. These are last year's onions, and of course I'll let them go to seed so I can harvest seed for next year. Egyptian walking onions, ready to remove a few bulbs and restart. Lettuce has done quite well. Of course, it's all going to seed now that it turned off warm. Peppers are in to take their place when the lettuce comes out. More peppers, lots more lettuce. Rabbits kept all this lettuce eaten down, so it's shorter on this end. More peppers over here. A few volunteer tomatoes I gotta take care of. These peppers have took off nicely. Some of these, of course, rabbits was constantly eating some off, so they've just been replaced. Last night, a matter of fact, some of them were. Black raspberry plant, I still haven't removed it yet, but it did produce somewhat this year. A few more onions, peppers. Grapes are doing pretty good. There are a few, about fell right there. Another grapevine down that way. I have been somewhat weeding, but it's getting kind of taken off, carried away with weeds while I've been replacing plants and working on fence. Cucumbers are up and trying to grow. They're going at it slow, but should be taking off here shortly due to the heat. A few pots in the middle of the walkway still. Do have straw down. Pole beans are still short due to the rabbits' constant eating, but a few have managed to take off. So they will start producing soon. This will be watermelons. Volunteer there. Some more coming up. Some more in the distance. My Concord grape, my favorite one. Lots of grapes on it all the way across. A new Concord grape. This one came off the other grapevine, and I decided just to try to leave it here at the end of the pole bean area. Another fence ready to go in. Some kale growing here. Blooms on the pole beans. Technically my first bean probably right there. Strawberries did quite well. A few tomatoes in this area. This side has been strawed. I'll back out the gate here. My path driveway, what's left of one bale of straw. The next bale looks kind of small in the picture, but this is well above head height. Lots of straw in that. Dumped a load of mulch here. Hopefully parts to a future hoop house. I'll do some changing around and additions. Trampoline in the distance. Parts to a trampoline in the distance. Hopefully work as well for a hoop house. Potatoes growing back here again this year. Still got to catch up on cleaning. Some more potatoes. A few spices back here. I got parsley. The cilantro got eaten pretty good. Been cleaning out back here. Still rearranging. This will be some more herbs not planted yet. Some tomatoes not cleaned up and planted yet. I can never remember the name of this offhand. It's for pizza sauce. and spaghetti sauce. Harvested some of it. Tomatillo growing. Some larger tomatoes back in the back here. This seems to grow some of the best tomatoes back by the woods. Another grapevine. Little bit of weeding left to do. Lots of straw still to go down in the paths. A few carrots left to go to seed. Peas, a few harvested. The rabbits got into them and decimated them pretty good. Nice patch of tomatoes here. They didn't get bothered by the rabbits. Tomato there. These are whoppers here. A few strawberries on the everbear. Eggplants. Just got beets planted here last night. Some more eggplants. What's left of the peanuts over here. These peanuts were only eaten on once, so they're a little larger. Some pole beans here. Tomatoes, a few sweet potatoes in the farther area. More tomatoes here. These are a delicious variety. A few late red onions. Probably won't produce a bulb this year, but could be seed for next year. Broccoli, most of it's gone there. A couple here, 3. Some cauliflower on the end. The rest of it's gone. Gonna have to be replanted. Same way over there. Most of the cabbage has been eaten. Wheat crop. The grandkids harvested close to a 5-gallon bucket full. So next project will be removing the seed from the husks. They're going to try cooking some. Volunteer squash. It's not produced a squash yet, but it does have male blooms and is getting ready to do some female blooms. So all in all, the garden is finally taking off in the heat. I hung a turnip up for the seed to dry. So hopefully in the fall we'll have some turnip seed coming up. Several pineapples are producing this year, including some that shouldn't have. They somehow triggered and become, instead of being a biannual, have become annuals and are producing smaller ones. But the strawberry barrel did produce several strawberries. I still have not got the irrigation hooked up into it, so it's not growing the greatest, but they are producing young leaves, and we'll see if these are everbears or not and produce any berries through the summer. They are still producing a few, so they were a little later I believe due to transplanting. But we'll see how that all goes. So that's the garden so far for June 22nd. Real quickly, I'll take you over to the east garden. Okay, actually it's made a mistake. It's west garden, not east. Wasn't thinking. Had a lot of extra tomato plants and pepper plants this year. So I've started putting them in over here. Put down some straw and just threw them in. I'm going to try to do one more row. Apricot tree, or bush, actually what's supposed to be. Deers, of course, years ago pruned it up. This one died and they started pruning it up, but it is bushing out. Was planning on taking them out this year. Didn't get it done. And I did pick 4 apricots and salvaged a few pieces off of a few other apricots. Watermelon growing. Ezra, youngest grandson, planted those. Sweet corn is coming up. Thought I planted a little too thick, but it spaced out probably about right, or maybe even a little thin unless more comes up. So it's doing kind of nicely. Hopefully not too weedy. There'll be a few weeds having to be removed. And so far, this is the grandkids' garden. They've planted a few tomatoes and a few peppers and eggplants. Just kind of gotten started. We'll see how good a gardeners they become. Hopefully as they move a little more mulch around, they'll have a little more area to plant a little more. Set them up a mole trap to try to catch a mole that moved in, and it seems to have moved back out. So that is the west garden and the grandkids' garden.